How much money have you spent on marketing in the last 12 months? Social media ads, a new website, a content creator, a marketing agency, email campaigns, maybe a course on how to grow your audience. Now here's the follow-up question. How much of that spend actually turned into clients? If your answer is not enough, this video is for you. Because in my experience, the problem is almost never the marketing. The problem is what comes before the marketing. And most entrepreneurs never build it. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact hierarchy of clarity that separates the businesses that market with confidence from the ones that market and wonder why nothing's working. Here's what we're covering today. Why most marketing fails, and it's not the reason you think. The 5-layer clarity stack, the foundational framework that every successful brand is built on, the customer worth serving, the most important business decision you'll ever make, and how to get it right. How AI is changing the game and why entrepreneurs with clear positioning are becoming unstoppable. And how marketing and sales become almost effortless when you build from the right foundation. Obi here with Powered by Q. Powered by Q is the strategic brand marketing agency empowering ambitious entrepreneurs to unlock their brand's maximum potential. We execute this through integrated storytelling that engage targeted audiences, drive predictable conversions, and accelerate growth. We serve purpose-driven businesses by building brands rooted in empathy, driven by data, and brought to life with technology. I spent over a decade doing this work with more than 100 businesses, and I keep seeing the same pattern over and over again. Smart entrepreneurs, real expertise, genuine hustle, and marketing that just doesn't land. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why. Let's get into it. Here's how most entrepreneurs build a business. And I'm going to describe this in detail because I want you to recognize yourself in this story. You start with a skill, a service, a product, something you're genuinely good at, maybe even exceptional at. And then someone tells you, you need to market it. So you go get a logo made, you build a website, you set up Instagram and LinkedIn, and maybe even TikTok. You start posting content. You run some ads. And for a while, it seems like progress. You're building, you're showing up, you're doing the work. But then you look at the results, the actual inquiries, the clients, the real revenue, and something simply doesn't add up. You're putting in the effort, but you're not getting the traction. So you do what most people do. You try more content, better ads, a different platform, a new niche, a rebrand. And the cycle continues over and over again. Here's what's actually happening. You built a house from the roof down. You started with the visible stuff, the marketing, the content, the creative, before you ever laid the foundation. And no amount of beautiful roof is gonna save a house with a broken foundation. I call that foundation the clarity stack. And in 10 years of working with over 100 businesses across industries, I've never seen a brand succeed sustainably without it. Let me show you what the clarity stack actually looks like. The clarity stack has 5 layers. Each one builds on the one before it, and you can't skip a layer. You can't build a layer 3 on a broken layer 2. Here's the stack. From the ground up, at the foundation, you have positioning and customer clarity. Who's the customer worth serving? What problem do we uniquely solve, and why us? Layer 2, messaging and your value proposition. The exact words that turn clarity into connection, your articulated promise. Layer 3, bold branding. Identity that expresses and amplifies a clear message, not decoration. Layer 4, effective marketing. Strategy and content that resonate because the foundation is rock solid. Layer 5, systematized sales. Conversations that close because trust is pre-built before the call even begins. Notice what's at the top of that stack. Marketing and sales, the things most entrepreneurs try to build first. And notice what's at the bottom. positioning and customer clarity, the things most entrepreneurs skip entirely. This isn't an accident. This is the order. Let me walk you through each of these layers. I want to start with a question that most business coaches never ask. Not who is your target audience, but who is the customer worth serving? These two questions sound similar, but they're not the same. Who is your target audience is a marketing question. It's demographic. It's about reach. Who is the customer worth serving is a strategic question. It's about fit, transformation, and mutual value. The customer worth serving is a very specific person. They have the exact problem you are best equipped to solve. Your solution is genuinely transformative for them. Not just helpful, not just useful, but transformational. And they recognize the value of what you do, so much so that they're willing to pay a premium for it, commit to it, and advocate for you. The last part matters more than most people realize. A customer who doesn't fully recognize your value will negotiate your price, they'll drain your energy, they'll produce mediocre results because they won't fully commit to your program. And when they don't get the transformation they were only half invested in, they won't refer you. They'll quietly move on. I call that client the wrong customer. And every minute you spend chasing the wrong customer is a minute you're not in front of the right one. Finding the customer worth serving is the highest leverage decision that you'll make in business. Not your pricing, not your offering, not your marketing channels. This decision. Because when you find that customer, when you can describe them so specifically that they read your positioning and say, where has this person been my whole life? Everything else in your business just gets easier. Your content writes itself because you know exactly what they care about. Your sales conversations shorten because they already believe you before they hop on a call. Your pricing becomes easier to defend because the value is undeniable to this specific customer. Your referrals increase because clients who get genuine transformation from what you share go on to tell everyone they know. Once you know who the customer worth serving is, you can build your positioning on a rock solid foundation. Positioning is your claim in the market. It answers one question, and that is, why you over everyone else who does something similar? And the answer can't be, we're the best. Everyone says that. It can't be, we care more. Everyone says that as well. Your positioning has to be specific. It has to be defensible. It has to be built around the customer worth serving. I like the way April Dunford says it. She wrote a book on positioning that's absolutely outstanding. Positioning is the act of deliberately defining how you're best at something a specific set of customers cares deeply about. Not the best at everything, the best at one thing, something really specific. Once you have your positioning clarity, you have something to say. Now the question is, how do you say it in a way that actually lands? That's messaging. And at the center of your messaging is your value proposition. Your value proposition is the most concise, clearest answer to the question your customer is silently asking every time they encounter your brand. What's in it for me? Not what do you do, not how long have you been doing it, not what your process is. What changes for me? What do I get? What does my life or my business look like on the other side of working with you? A great value proposition does three things simultaneously. One, it names a specific customer. Two, it articulates the specific transformation. Three, it signals why you are distinctly the one to deliver it. When your value proposition does all three, something shifts in your marketing. You stop trying to convince people and you start attracting them. Because the right person reads it and self-selects. They come to you already believing you understand their world. Because your messaging shows that you do. That's the power of clear messaging. It pre-sells, pre-qualifies, and pre-builds trust one customer at a time. I need to say something that might rattle a few designers in the audience. Your logo is not your brand. Your colors are not your brand. Your font is not your brand. Those are assets. Those are tools. And they're completely useless without the clarity that comes before them. I've worked with businesses that had stunning visual identities, Beautiful logos, cohesive color systems, professional photography and videography, and absolutely no clients. Because the visuals were a decoration on top of an empty foundation. And I've also seen the opposite. Businesses with simple, even scrappy visual identities that were book solid because their positioning was razor sharp and their messaging was undeniable. Here's the relationship I want you to understand. Branding is not the message. Branding is the expression of the message. When your positioning is clear and your messaging is tight, branding becomes the visual and emotional vocabulary that amplifies what's already true about your business. That's when branding becomes bold. Not because you picked a bold color palette, but because every visual and verbal element is rooted in a clear, specific, authentic truth about who you are and who you serve. Build the foundation first, then your brand has something real to express. Now, I want to talk about something that is reshaping every conversation I'm having with entrepreneurs right now. You guessed it, artificial intelligence. Specifically, what AI is making possible for entrepreneurs who have clarity, and what it amplifies for entrepreneurs who don't have clarity. Let me be direct about this. AI is the most powerful accelerator in the history of marketing. Full stop, period. If you have a clear positioning, a sharp value proposition, and a well-defined customer worth serving, AI allows you to execute with a level of speed, precision, and personalization that used to require an entire agency. You can use AI to go deep on your ideal customer, their language, their fears, their hopes, their desires, the specific words they use when they describe their problems. You can study their communication styles. You can understand the communities that they're part of, review their reviews, their content, and come on the other side of this with a level of customer insight that used to take months, maybe even years of research. You can use AI now to sharpen your positioning in real time, test language, refine your value proposition, and stress test your differentiators against other competitor claims. You can use AI to produce content at a scale and quality that would have required a full team 18 months ago. Video scripts, email sequences, social media calendars, ad copy, all of it. This is what I mean when I say the entrepreneur with clear positioning is becoming unstoppable. But here's the other side of that coin. AI amplifies whatever you give it. If you give it clarity, it produces precision. If you give it confusion, it produces more confusion, faster. The entrepreneur who uses AI without positioning clarity is just producing more noise more quickly, more mediocre content, more generic messaging, more ads that look like everyone else's ads. The tool is neutral. The foundation determines the outcome. This is why I believe positioning is more critical right now than it's ever been in the history of marketing. Because the barrier to creating content has dropped to almost zero, which means the market is about to get flooded with mediocre content from people who learn the tools but skip the foundation. And in that environment, the entrepreneur with surgical positioning clarity, that person doesn't just stand out, they dominate. Now we get to the two things every entrepreneur actually wants when they come to me: marketing that works and sales that close. Here's what I want you to understand about both of them. When your positioning is clear, when your messaging is sharp, when your brand expresses something true, marketing stops being a grind and starts being a conversation. Your content resonates because it's written for something specific. Who actually exists? Your ads convert because the message speaks directly to the felt problem of the customer worth serving. Your organic reach compounds because people share what feels true to their experience. You stop spraying messaging into the void and you start having the right conversations with the right people at the right time. That's effective marketing. Not louder, not more expensive, just more precisely aimed. And then there's sales. The best thing that clarity does for sales is this: it makes the close feel inevitable. When someone gets on a discovery call with you and they've already consumed your content, read your positioning, seen your proof, they don't need to be sold. They need to be confirmed. They've already decided. The call is just them making sure you're the real deal. That's what I mean by systematized sales. Not a pushy script, not manipulative tactics, a system where your clarity does the heavy lifting long before you ever get on that Zoom call. Your positioning builds trust. Your messaging answers their questions before they ask them, and your branding makes them feel seen, heard, and connected with. Your marketing stays top of mind for them, and by the time they're on call with you, they're not convincing themselves. They're just confirming what they already know. That's the power of the clarity stack. Not just in any one layer, but in all 5 layers working together from the foundation up. I want to leave you with the big idea that drives everything on this channel. Clarity is the most valuable asset in your business. More valuable than your tools, more valuable than your budget, more valuable than your connections. Because when you're clear about who you serve, about what you solve, and about why you and not anyone else does what you do, you are differentiated. Your hustle multiplies, your content multiplies, your sales conversations multiply, your team multiply, and AI becomes an accelerator for it all. But without clarity, those same assets just compound confusion. More spending on a broken foundation doesn't fix the foundation. It just makes the cracks more expensive. This is what Powered by Q is built to do. And this is what this channel is built to teach. Week after week, we're gonna go deep on every layer of this stack. We're gonna build your positioning. We're gonna sharpen your messaging. We're gonna show you how to use AI to execute with surgical precision. We're gonna turn your marketing from a guess into a system. And we're going to do all of it from the foundation up, because that's the only way it works. Let's bring it together. The reason 90% of marketing fails is not bad creative, not the wrong platform, not the wrong budget. It's a missing foundation. The Clarity Stack gives you that foundation. Layer 1, positioning and the customer worth serving. The most important strategic decision in your business. Layer 2, messaging and your value proposition, turning clarity into language that converts. Layer 3, bold branding, expression that amplifies a clear message, not decoration on top of confusion. Layer 4, effective marketing, strategy that resonates because it's aimed at someone real. Layer 5, systematized sales, conversations that close because trust is already built. And AI sits across every layer as an accelerator, but only for the entrepreneur who builds the foundation first. Build from the ground up, that's the work. That's what this channel is all about. Before you go, I have 3 asks. Ask number 1, drop a comment below and tell me which layer of the Clarity Stack is the biggest gap in your business right now. Is it your positioning, your messaging, your branding, your marketing, or your sales system? Be honest. That answer is going to shape exactly what content I prioritize on this channel, and I personally read every single comment, so keep it real. Ask number 2. I've put together a free Clarity Stack worksheet. It's in the description. It walks you through a diagnostic for each layer so you can identify exactly where your foundation has gaps. It's the same audit I do with new clients in our first session together. Go ahead and grab it for free. Ask number 3, if this video made something click for you, hit subscribe, because every week on this channel, we're gonna go deeper into each of these layers and each of these stacks with real frameworks, real case studies, and real tools for building a brand that actually wins clients. Next week, we're going into layer 1 in depth, exactly how to write a positioning statement that makes the right person stop and say, that's exactly what I need. You're not going to want to miss that one. I'm Obi. Let's build something worth remembering. I'll see you in the next one.